Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Almost good evening, actually. Welcome to the Southern Caribbean. We are in the gorgeous TBM 930. Right down there is Grenada Airport, right there off the tip of that island there. We are in the beautiful TBM 930, like I said, and you'll notice there is a new livery today. It says Walker Air. Whatever could that possibly mean? Well, we'll get into that over the next half an hour or so. We are 4 nautical miles from top of descent. We're looking at about 1900 feet per minute. Once we start moving here. And let's see, I have not done anything to prepare for this, clearly. So let's get vertical speed mode going here. Let me move, just zoom in here a little bit. Zooming out, aren't I? Alright, so there we go. So we are flying, and now we've hit the, so let's go vertical speed mode. Drop it about, 1900 feet. Let's pull the power back. I really don't mind actually picking up a little speed. Just don't want to pick up too much. So we are flying, we just passed over Grenada. We are inbound right now to Trinidad, to Piarco. Flight plan is all set. The approach is loaded. Took me a while to get the approach loaded correctly. So before I start yapping too much, first of all, let me brief this approach here, just in case. There's some clouds over the island. I think it's going to be visual, but final approach course 105. Glide slope intercept is Thales at 1700. Decision height is 350. I've got that in the minimums right there. Let's see here. Runway elevation is 30 feet. Missed approach, climb 1500 on a track of 105, which is straight ahead, and then climbing right turn to 4100 feet direct Imira and hold. That would be it's a non-standard holding pattern. It would be a teardrop entry. Suppose I can show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see here. Charts. Arrival. Or approach, rather. So we'll be coming down here, making the left-hand turn. The missed approach is right here to Imira, and it would be it's a non-standard holding pattern. It's left-hand turns, so it would be a teardrop. That would be yeah, it would be a teardrop. So outbound plus 30, 195 plus 30. It'd be heading at 225 for 1 minute, and then so Lexor 2500, Thales mandatory 1700. Once we turn Lexor, it's a 10-mile final. Descent angle is 3 degrees, so 90 knots, 478 feet a minute. There's PAPI on the left-hand side, high intensity approach light system. Missed approach again, climb 1500, climbing right turn, direct Amira. There's the minimums. So, I don't expect to have to use any of that information, but it's always good to know what it is. Let's pull this up so we can, let's go back to the map page. Yeah, we're still good on the, we're actually climbing. The airspeed is climbing because we've got the power in. So, real quick, back to, well, let's see here. Let me set my altitude correctly so I don't get messed up with that. 4100 is the altitude I'm looking for. Oops. You can see everything in the VNAV profile is set. We're right on 1900, which is where that purple arrow is, right on our target right there. We're tracking down towards that V on the VNAV profile. We've got the hammer down right now. We're going 340 knots in the descent, ground speed anyway. Runway 10, 21, 49. So we've got about another 12 minutes before we land. So anyway, transition level is 5500. Let me get the altimeter here at Piarco. Walker Air. So I've been kind of debating for a while now getting or joining a virtual airline. And the other day I was on, let's see, 101429 or 904. That's the altimeter we're looking for here. The other day I was on the Microsoft forums, the Flight Simulator forums, and somebody posted about, I'm sure it's somebody from Walker posted about Walker. They posted this big long post about like kind of what they do, and now my passengers are enjoying this. It should definitely be at like half bank. Let me put it in half bank mode here. I wonder why I created a user waypoint right there. Hard to know, right? So anyway, so I decided to check Walker Air out, and it turns out it's really pretty cool. They do cargo, they do passenger, and they do why it's doing this. For some reason it entered a user waypoint. And they do charters, which is what I'm doing right now. And it's really pretty neat because they give you see, something happened with the plan here, but they give you it's got a really awesome website with you can do all your flight planning. It's got yeah, see, this is not correct here. Let's go direct NAPCO. And I don't know what just happened. I don't know why it just did that. But it did. Maybe we got some fog around the island here, it looks like, almost, right? So you can do like all your flight plan. Oh, dust! Look at that. So I'm looking at my actual. This is really pretty cool. I'm looking at my actual, the app that I use for flying, which is ForeFlight, and it says marginal VFR and weather dust. So occasionally in the Caribbean, you'll get, believe it or not, dust from Africa, right? They had some in St. Martin last year when we were there. So the dust storms in Africa will actually send the dust over all the way across the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and it can have impacts on the visibility in the Caribbean. So this is literally African dust, and this is actually real. It's actually real weather. Hold on for 1 second. Sorry about that. A friend of mine just gave me a ring and I had to take that. So anyway, so now here I am thinking I'm not going to have to fly an approach, and the reality is I might be having to fly an approach. But I just think this is absolutely wild that they actually have this simulated, because this is African dust. And if you don't believe me, look it up. I mean, the Caribbean is hit by African dust. So anyway, back to Walker Air. was thinking it was maybe a Johnny Walker thing, like looking at that little logo, but this is actually the founder. He was an IT guy, or is an IT guy, and this is what he looks like walking to the airport, getting his IT jobs. I have to pay attention now, aren't I? In my in the old flying here. So we're gonna hit NAPCO at 4,100 feet. We're right on time for that. And then we've got, looks like we got one plane ahead of us and one plane on the way out. So make a broadcast. Here we are on 122.8. Piarco traffic. Walker 2184 is 5 miles from NAPCO inbound on the RNAV 10 approach. Piarco. So the other thing I need to do is turn on my panel lights. I left my landing light on the whole flight, which I should not have done. So this is really pretty cool. This is one of my favorite approaches. I love the approach into Piarco. It's a really cool approach. So 4,100 feet, I'm going to drop it down to what we really should do is drop it down to something less than 230 knots. Okay, I'm going like seriously balls out right now. Should really start slowing down. So, and again, it's created a user waypoint. I don't know why it's done that. We're going to drop this down to 2,500 now. And we're going to go into vertical speed mode. And we'll drop it down, what, about 1,250. And coming down to 2,500, and this is a really cool feature of the G3000. Is this actually tells you 2,500, and that's what you're supposed to, that's what your next altitude is.
Okay, I found this on the web for Is There Any Coffee Trilogy 3000 to flight.
What? I think my Siri has gone mad. So power's coming back to 3,300. I should turn the inertial separator on for this dust. What a cool approach. And 178, I can put in that first notch of flaps. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of a tricky little approach, because this wind is, or this dust is some interesting stuff. So 2,500. Now we can bring it down to 17. Let's keep it in vertical speed mode. I don't know why it's dropping.
2,500.
Piarco traffic, Walker 2184 on a 10-mile final runway 10, Piarco. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky, and we're going to have to come down here on the power. 23 on the NG. This is just wild. This is truly wild. 17, I am not in approach mode. I'm so like fascinated with this, with what's going on here. Okay. I am now in approach mode, so it's gonna get the glide path for me. That's the one thing, is you get so like fascinated with what's going on. So never be asleep at the wheel, you know. Never be asleep at the wheel. So once we hit Lexor, it should capture the glide slope. I want to put down the gear about a mile short of. I can't believe this. How much fuel do I have? Enough to get to Piarco, but I don't know if there's. We'll see. All right. And wait about a half mile short of Lexor, and I'll drop the gear in the second notch of flaps, and that should get me down to a good final approach speed. Minimums are 350. And this is, I mean, I never would have guessed. Alright, gears coming down. Put that last notch of flaps down. And glide slope intercepted. Piarco traffic, Walker 2184, 5 mile final runway 10, Piarco. This is definitely one of the coolest flights I've ever done in Flight Simulator. So, put that altitude back up to 4100 just in case we have to go missed. Alright. Alright. I don't know why it's doing that. 1300 for 350. No idea why it's making that noise. Gears down, flaps are down, airspeed is good. Alright, 1150 for 350. Coming in with a little bit of power. $10.50 for 350. A little bit more power.
1,000.
Okay, I can see the lights. I can see the rabbit. Alright. 850 for 350, 500 to go. Little bit of power. $750 for 350. Bringing in a little bit of power. $650 for 350. Alright, airspeed's looking good. Coming back up on the glide slope. $550 for 350, that's 200 to go. Normally I'd think about kicking off the autopilot, but I'm just going to stay right where I am. $450 for 350, 100 to go. Starting to back off the power just a little bit. And there's minimums. Let's kick off the autopilot.
300. 200.
Little bit of power. Alright, we're looking great. Starting to bring some power out.
100.
Starting to bring some power out. Bring the nose up a little bit. Slow the airplane down.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
I think that's going to count as a double landing right there. That's going to count for 2, and I just missed the turnoff. And I think what we're going to do is, well, first of all, let's put the brakes on here.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. At that point, we will have parked the gate and it will be safe to
Alright,
get
let's
out.
gonna make a right-hand turn here. Go over to general aviation parking. So I tell you what,
If you need assistance when deboarding, please remain seated until everyone else has exited. We would be
bring the
happy to
flaps
help.
up.
On behalf of the crew,
I'm gonna turn my landing light off. I'll tell you what,
have a great day.
I mean, it's just a neat, I mean, this is just as cool an approach and landing and kind of a scenario in Microsoft Flight Simulator that I've ever seen. We'll come to a stop here and just take a quick look around. I mean, look at this dust storm, and it's real. I mean, this is actually here, and I just think that's so cool. You know, that's one thing is that kind of being able to sort of not predict everything that's going to happen. I find it really teaches you, because for me, and there's a Marajet, like for me, as an instrument pilot, like it teaches you. There's a MeraFlight, the Swearingen 225, I think that is. They call it the San Antonio sewer pipe. For me, it teaches you, like, I think the general aviation parking is up here. Teaches you to, you know, basically to always treat every approach seriously. You know, even when you think to yourself, "Oh, geez, you know, there's really no chance that this is going to turn into a real approach." Well, you know, you might be surprised. And I could have, I mean, it didn't turn out to be that big a deal. I mean, I was, you know, able to catch the runway pretty early. But nonetheless, like, let's go over and park right here. Nonetheless, it's you know, it's important to stay mentally alert to the fact that you might actually have to do something, you know, besides just you know, fall asleep and watch the autopilot and then, you know, go land. I mean, I totally, you know, when we were coming in, I said to myself, you know, let me turn all my lights off here, turn my panel lights off. I said to myself, you know, there's some clouds on the, you know, there's some clouds there. Pay attention, you know, to the fact that it might not be clear. And so I did. But I certainly didn't expect an African dust storm. You know? I mean, what a cool shot this is. Look at that. I'm going to frame this one and take it. Um, so just a really cool experience, really cool flight. And yeah, I am now flying for Walker Air. I am Walker Air 2184. That's my new call sign. I'm sure I'll do some of my own flying still, but I'm based out of St. Martin with Walker, and now I can do some flying around the Caribbean for for that. So hope you guys enjoyed the flight. This one is a really cool one, and talk to you soon.